Okay, so some of you may have heard my bee balm story in the years past, but many of you may not have, and it's always good to hear it again. So I'm just going to share when one of the times that I worked with bee balm and how I personally, from my own experience, know how powerful it is for post-traumatic situations. Um, so let's see. Long story short, I was living in a different place than I live now, and I was backing into the driveway with my car. Backed into the driveway, just shut the car door, and this super crazy loud truck going like 100 miles an hour came around the corner of another street, hit a speed bump, and crashed right into the brick house next to mine. Like just at 100 miles per hour, just T-bone crashed right into the brick house. The brick, like the wall even crashed in. And the driver sort of stumbled out. No, the driver didn't stumble out. I think the driver, his leg was broken, so he was kind of stuck in the driver's seat. The passenger stumbled out. He was all bloody. He ran off. Neighbors came running out of the houses. I walked up. The driver spoke Spanish, so I asked him if he's okay, where it hurt. Someone had said they called the ambulance, so I just relayed that. And what was really interesting to me about that experience, eventually the ambulance came. And the gentleman was looked after. He was significantly drunk at like 1 PM. So that's probably why he was going so fast and lost control and crashed into the house. But it was such an interesting experience because in the moment, I didn't feel stressed. In the moment, I was very calm. I'd already parked my car. Luckily, if I had been like 2 or 3 seconds later, I probably would have gotten smashed. But I was in a safe place. I was like, my energy felt very quiet and everything kind of slowed down, and I just moved into action. I really didn't think much of it after that point until I went to walk my dog later that evening. Was walking down the street, and this really noisy truck drove by. So the sound was the trigger. It was the same sound as the noisy muffler truck coming around the corner going 100 miles an hour. Walking the dog, noisy truck driving by on the street, and I literally like observed myself like running off the sidewalk through the yard up to the neighbor's front door with the dog. And then by the time I got to their door, I was like, what am I doing here? And it's almost like this involuntary drive out of fear because of the sound to move myself out of the way of danger or harm. And then I realized, whoa, this is really interesting. Like this kind of PTSD phenomenon is really intense. It's like something that's almost, you can't control it. It's just your nervous system springs to it and your body reacts and responds. I had another friend during that same time. He was in Nepal during the time that the hurricane occurred, and literally like was sitting at a wall that cracked down the middle of it. I mean, it was terrible, super scary experience for him. And I sent him some bee balm as well. And here's what happened. In my case, what I noticed starting to work with bee balm is that it exacerbated or intensified the symptoms for about a week into taking it. So when I was walking the dog at night, I felt even more kind of hopped up and kind of intense, panicky, fear, nervous system on overdrive. It's like, just like in the way that I say, like things come up to come out and we get a chance to look at them on their way out. And the re-experiencing of it is sometimes not pleasant or more intensified than if we were to just experience it on the way in. It's like coming all out really fast and intense. So symptoms increased for about a week, and then they dissolved out of my system. And then after that, beyond that point, no response. So similar sound trigger happens, zero response. My friend experienced something similar, where he would be like back home in the States on the bed, and if he laughed or somebody jumped on the bed and the bed shook, that would like send his nervous system into a spin because of the PTSD around experiencing the hurricane. in Nepal. So I share that in case any of you have had any sort of like traumatic accidents or experienced violence in your recent past, because bee balm actually does have the capacity to be able to pull things out of your nervous system. Almost like, I see it almost like a filing system in your nervous system. And it's like pulling out the files that don't serve you. Why? Because even if you're not experiencing any sort of response on a daily basis, they're taking up space. It's like taking up RAM in your computer. It may not be obvious to you, but it's bogging down your system. And so that's why we want to, pull out these old files. And if you've experienced something like an accident or a fire or loss of a loved one or something that really jarred your nervous system, you may experience an intensification of sensation or feeling. And this isn't anything that you can't handle. It's just, you may notice it come up and be like, what is this? This is really uncomfortable. So I wanted to record this video just as a reminder, and also to just remind us all why we're in the Flower Evolution program. And that is to do this sort of clearing, cleansing, purifying out of things that no longer serve us, that are weighing us down. And afterwards, we feel lighter, cleaner, freer, more streamlined, and free, actually free from things that were stuck in our system. So it's worth it to go through it. Don't be afraid of it. It's nothing that you can't handle. I actually have been also using Boundless Wisdom, which also has the bee balm in it, along with some other flower essences. So you can also add Boundless Wisdom to your routine if you like, as well as the inner peace. Inner peace is, of course, that the flower essence blend that we have that just like brings you down to ground, grounds you when things are a little bit frantic, which may be needed. If the bee balm is making things come to the surface in a sort of accelerated or intense way, inner peace grounds us down into the strength of who we are and our true foundation and stability. But feel free to add Boundless Wisdom. I have been. Creates a lot of spaciousness in mind and a lot of capacity for insights, like flashes of insight, because you're much more spacious. So yeah, just a gentle reminder that whatever arises this month, to really cherish it and embrace it and bring it close, because it is a sort of purging and also preparation. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in the world right now, and sometimes I wonder if there will be unrest in the future. And I've noticed that in the Flower Evolution program, we oftentimes are downloading frequencies from nature in order to prepare us for future events. So feel free to be reckless with this bee balm and really like load up on all of this sort of calm, powerfully calm, insightful energy in your system, so that you can hold space for that going forward for you and your family and your community. Let's see if there's anything else. Yeah, really just want to encourage you, if anything arises, to be able to just really be gentle and ride it out and remind yourself that things don't last forever. When you feel like at the pinnacle of a moment of intensity, rarely does it last longer than a few hours or a few days at most. And then it moves through you so that you can experience something else. And if you feel particularly challenged, you can just get in touch with your body. Like, where am I feeling a sensation? Rather than getting all swirled up into feeling and story and feeling and feeling and feeling and story, and trying to figure it out and getting up into a swirl, is really just to sort of notice sensations. Where do I feel that sensation in my body? Where do I feel that in my body? And then just really gently tending toward that part of your body and letting whatever it is move through you. If you need to have a good cry, you have a good cry. If you need to run around, if you need to scream into a pillow, just letting the energy move through you, through the sensations in your body. So this week, the question is, what do you need right now to experience more stability, whether that's inner peace or boundless wisdom or movement or taking more breaks or a cup of tea? What is it that you need to experience more stability? Thanks for being with us.